they can hear me?
Facebook and YouTube should be on. Yeah.
Everybody good?
Yeah. It says it's working. Sending data. It's streaming on Facebook and it says it's sending data to YouTube.
Okay. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram Live.
There's 300 people on Instagram.
Awesome. Hey everyone. We're going to get started in just a minute. So we're good. They can hear me all right?
Yep.
You guys, this is our very first live stream and we are fucking pumped about it. We are so excited about doing this live stream because I've been wanting to do this for a while, and Tom actually was the one that's like, how do you feel about doing live streams, about a year ago? And I'm like, oh. We were so tired because we have been raising a toddler named Primal Bod. And Primal Bod's 2 years. Hi, Nicole. Primal Bod is 2 years old now. So we have got the right crew. Everything is going amazing. We're killing it over there. And so we're like, now we're ready for live. I'm wearing Rip Curl. I got this in Laguna Beach, actually. We were just in Laguna Beach. We were doing a podcast with Bethany, who is the founder of Primally Pure Skincare, and we were doing her podcast, which we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about that because I posted a reel today, and it blew up on Facebook, actually. Not on Instagram so much right now, but Facebook, it really blew up. And we're going to talk about that tonight because I need to teach you guys some stuff. I know that I need to teach you guys some more stuff. We don't have times. Hi, Suzanne. Awesome, Heather. She's week 3 in Primal Bod. Right on, girlfriend. We have some fun stuff to talk about tonight. And we plan on doing these live streams regularly. I don't know what my schedule is going to be like quite yet. But man, I want to rock the live stream because I like getting on with you guys and just chatting with the people. Hi, Abby. Hi, Cindy. I want to do these regularly because you guys are like cool to hang out with. I want to hang out with people that understand what's going on in the world of, well, not even weight loss, just like natural health stuff, right? Living a more natural life. And I think it's going to be fun that we can just get together live and in person, and you guys can ask me your questions, your burning questions. Thank you, Nicole. Super sweet. So yes, let's get started, you guys. Let's talk about this reel that I just did. So Bethany reached out to us. I don't know, what was it, Tom? Like 6 months ago, a year ago maybe. And she's like, can you come to my podcast? She was in California. She wanted me to show up live. And I said, well, we can do that. I said, but we have some other business stuff going on there. Hi, Heather. And thank you, Channy. I hope I said that right. Thank you. And we had thank you, Gary. We had we're going to California anyways to do some other business stuff. And so we scheduled to go see Bethany on her farm. So Bethany's got this farm that's like her and her family started, and it's freaking amazing. And I think they started it during COVID even, or right before COVID or something like that. Anyways, her husband and her father-in-law, and they all were like living in one house, she said, and her story's really cool. Anyways, they're on this farm, and she starts making all these skincare and selling them at the farmer's market, and they were just like blowing up. She couldn't keep them in stock. So she just started making another product and another product. Apparently it started with natural deodorant, and it just grew. And now they've got 3 farms. I think they've got 1 in Texas and somewhere, I don't remember, maybe 2 in Texas, and then 1 in California. And so we went and sat with her, and she interviewed me for 2 hours, and she's super awesome. And so that reel that we shared, that reel is of that podcast. It isn't out yet. It will be out on February 11th. So go over to Primally Pure Instagram, give them a follow, because Bethany's right up our alley, you guys. She's doing everything natural. She wanted to learn so much about what's going on, and I think she's a total sweetheart. So we went over there to talk, and I just told her what I know to be true for me and the 6,500 women we've helped in Primal Bod with insulin and their blood sugar. And so this reel that I'm going to show you guys in just a second is me telling her what I found out. And so tonight we're going to talk about that, because the comments were like sad to me. They were sad because I really want people to understand that, you know, I know people think I'm a big, maybe bitch, it could be a word, and I'm mean, and we've had people unfollow us because they think that I'm mean. It's not that I'm mean, I'm frustrated. And I'm frustrated because I see people suffering and I don't like it. And it's always bothered me, even when I was a kid, when people don't take things serious that need to be taken serious. Now, I'm all about joking around and being playful. Like my coaches will tell you, my sisters, like, you need to show people your funny side, your playful side. I have that. And I'm not really a judgmental person, except when I hear people complain about their health and I know that I can help give them some advice or recommendations that could maybe improve their life. And when they don't listen or they argue with me about it, that's when I get a little frustrated and I'm a little fire. I'm a little fire sometimes. I think Tom Fraser likes that about me. Thank you, Heather. You guys are so sweet in the comments. Thank you, Cindy. Yeah, it is passion, and it's just me. It's me wanting to help people. I had a practice for many years before I started Primal Bod, and I saw clients come into my office, and I was just a nutritionist, and they needed help with some pretty serious conditions that I couldn't help them with. That wasn't my scope of practice. And to see them suffer and try to get them to make changes and give up the sugar and give up the carbs, and they just, you know, didn't want to do that, and they'd remain in poor health. The doctors couldn't help them. I had numerous doctors, you know, telling people, well, we don't know what's wrong with you. Go see this girl. We hear she can help people. And I'm like, I can't do this. Is out of my scope of practice. I don't deal with diseases or labels. I just want to show you how to live a more natural life. So that's what we're doing on these lives, okay? So we can't ask medical related topics because I'm not a doctor, nor do I want to be one. I don't want to hand out little orange bottles all day. That doesn't sound like fun. So if I can teach you a few things that I've learned, and maybe they'll work for you. Maybe they won't, I don't know. But again, I'm not a doctor. If you have any medical related topics, you gotta go to your doctor. If you don't like your doctor, there's plenty of good ones out there. Find one you do like. Okay. All right. So Matthew says, what are your thoughts on juicing all natural for cleansing and overall health? Oh, Matthew, the number of juices I did in my years, so many. I did so many juices. I had the most expensive juicer. I mean, I was like pro level juicing, and it tanked my kidneys. My kidney function went so far down. My blood pressure dropped, and I almost had to go to the hospital. It was so bad. Thankfully, at the time, I had this really good chiropractor who was like, you need to go to the hospital. And of course, me being the person I am, I'm not going to the hospital. They're not going to do anything for me. So I laid off the juices and started eating more meat, and it worked. But I did juice fast. I did a 21-day fast, green juice. I did multiple of those, and I did other juicing, and my blood sugar was a freaking disaster. I had cystic acne, and my kidneys were shot from all the oxalate in all of the stuff I was juicing. So that was way back in my vegan days. I was vegan for 7 years off and on. I tried to be vegan, but it didn't work for me. I was in the poorest health I've ever been in my entire life. All right. So let's get on to my reel. So you can find it on Instagram. You can find it on, I don't know if we posted it on YouTube yet. Sean, did we post it on YouTube? Okay, Instagram and Facebook, but it's blowing up right now on Facebook. And so I'm going to play it for you guys. And we haven't quite figured out how to work on the audio yet, so I'm not going to share my screen. I'm just going to play it from my phone because I know you guys don't care. So, but I got to switch to Primal Bod. Okay, and I'm just going to play it over the phone and let you guys listen to it, and then we'll talk about this. We'll break this down. Okay.
I want everybody to really understand this. An apple and a peanut butter is a Snickers candy bar. Everyone thinks that's a healthy thing. It is a Snickers candy bar on your blood sugar. So instead of doing that, do a couple soft-boiled eggs. Do a can of sardines. Do some beef jerky. Do a beef stick. Do something other than sugar.
Okay. Did everybody hear that okay? Yeah. Okay, you guys heard it. So basically what I told her is, listen, the health foods that people think are healthy are not really that healthy for you. And I know the carnivores, and thumbs up if you're a carnivore, the carnivores get it. They understand this because they understand that plants have toxins. Plants have been selectively bred over, the last 12,000 years. We've been selectively breeding plants, and they have been selectively bred to have a lot of sugar and to, have high carbohydrate. So when you eat those foods that you think are healthy because they grow from a tree or a bush, what you really need to understand is that all food breaks down to three things. It either breaks down to glucose, it breaks down to fat, or it breaks down to amino acids. Okay? And carbohydrates only break down to glucose. That's it. They don't have any other health purposes. That's why you don't need them. Because meat breaks down to glucose too. You do need glucose, but meat breaks down to glucose. So you can get everything you need from meat. That's why we have long-term carnivores that aren't dead. And everybody thought 10 years ago, if you just eat meat, you're going to be dead in like 3 months, right? You got to have carbs. And now everyone knows that's not true. And Matthew, we eat a lot of peanut butter and apples. I'm going to explain it to you in just a minute, Matthew. You're going to be like, whoa. And I'm not saying that you can't eat peanut butter and apples, but I'm going to prove a point here in a minute, because you can eat peanut butter and apples if you have a lifestyle that permits that. So if you work out like a freaking NFL player, if you are in Cirque du Soleil and you work out like an acrobat, if you're a gymnast, if you work out a lot and you move a lot, you can eat that kind of stuff and it won't make you fat. It'll produce insulin, and you'll be able to make fat with the insulin. But if you use all the glucose up first, then you're not really going to be storing excess fat. So, movement really, really matters. How much movement you're doing really matters in the grand scheme of things. But for most of us, I would say, 98% of the population isn't moving like NFL players, or they're not in Cirque du Soleil. So the rest of us folks can't be eating apples and peanut butter every day and thinking that that is healthy for us. And another part of the reason for that is because apples and peanut butter doesn't offer you anything nourishing. It really, there's a little bit of nutrients in peanut butter and apples, but not compared to what you get in meat. So if you're filling up on carbohydrates that really don't offer you anything for your body, minimal things for your body, and you're not eating what you truly need that you get out of in meat, you're not going to build a strong body. I used to say this in my practice when I explained things to the kids that would come in and they were just eating, and their parents were like, I'm at my wit's end. They just want to eat just sugar and junk, and I don't know how to get them off of it. And I would say, okay. I had a little poster up in my office, and there was a chubby kid on the poster, and he had a bunch of fat food stuck on his body, like Pop-Tarts and pasta, macaroni and cheese and hamburgers. And then there was right next to him a skinny kid that had vegetables and protein on him and fruits. It had fruit on there, but for kids, that to them is healthier than eating toxic, garbage processed, highly processed foods. And I would say, okay, listen, here's the deal. Protein makes muscle. Do you want to be strong? Do you want to have muscle on your body? Yeah, they always would say, yeah, even the girls, yes. Okay, well, when you eat the sugar and you're eating all the stuff, you're just making fat on your body. And pretty soon that's going to make you look like this guy over here. It won't happen right away, but pretty soon. And then they would go, okay, and then they would start eating meat. Their parents would report back, they're eating meat now. So the proper human diet is meat. Now, can you have fruit and vegetables? Yeah, you can do whatever you want. You're grown-ass adults. You can eat whatever you want. But I encourage you to see how it feels to eliminate some of these high sugar foods. Even fruit that you think is healthy. when I give my husband, if I used to give my husband, Tom, a smoothie, I would give him Greek yogurt, protein powder, berries, frozen Costco berries, and we'd put, water in it, and we'd turn it on, and he would drink that, and literally his blood sugar would do the same thing as if he had a freaking custard from Culver's hamburger shop. Like, it would just go skyrocket. Just the same. He might as well have had a freaking Dairy Queen Blizzard. So I learned after I married my husband, Tom, that, oh my gosh, this whole fiber story, it really doesn't mean anything. And you guys, I thought it meant something too. For years, I told people to eat paleo with fruit. And I was doing it too. I was making all these yummy paleo freaking desserts with dates and walnuts and all the stuff that I thought was healthy in this little paleo dessert. And I'd be eating them, or fat bombs with coconut oil and cocoa and almond flour, whatever I was making, all the oxalates. And my goodness, I didn't know I was hypoglycemic. I had no idea that this whole food, organic paleo diet was causing me to be hypoglycemic. Now, it wasn't because I wasn't eating enough, because I was eating between 2,000 and 3,000 calories a day most of the time. And this is when I was getting fat from it too. I was eating enough. It was that my body was producing enormous amounts of insulin. Enormous amounts of insulin. And that insulin was dropping my blood sugar. I was overproducing insulin the whole time. So yes, poppies, girlfriend, Jacqueline, yes, poppies are blood sugar raising for sure. I know they taste good, but they definitely raise your blood sugar. Even I used to tell people to drink Zevia, the stevia flavored soda. This is how I would get my I'll answer that, Charlotte, in just a minute, because that's a really good question, girlfriend. So I used to tell my people to drink stevia when they were drinking like Mountain Dew and stuff. And I'd be like, okay, no more Mountain Dew because it's bad. You're going to drink Zevia, which is a stevia cola. It doesn't have any artificial colors in it. So it's like a more natural cola, right? And they would switch to Zevia and they still wouldn't lose any weight. And you know why? Because it's sweet. Anytime you taste something sweet, your body starts producing insulin. Did you know, they've done studies on this, you can go look it up, that the body starts producing insulin at the nose. What do I mean by that? As soon as you smell food, your body starts producing insulin. This is how quickly the nervous system responds to your environment. Okay, so you're smelling food and you're gonna start producing insulin. And insulin's the master fat storing hormone. So you don't wanna be overproducing that shit. Ladies, you do not. You wanna get control over insulin. But insulin, you have to have insulin because if you don't, you die. This is what happens when type 1 diabetics do not get their diagnosis in time. Ketoacidosis kills them. So you need some insulin, but you need the Goldilocks spot of insulin. So let's talk about this with, what was the question again about it wasn't the Coke Zero, it was, somebody asked, Charlotte, where did it go? What if your CGM doesn't spike with fruit? Yes, girlfriend, that is the right question. What if your CGM doesn't spike with fruit? So this is what I'm saying, which is the CGMs only work if insulin isn't working in your body, if your body's broken. So type 1 diabetics don't produce insulin, so they can wear a continuous glucose monitor and they can constantly see that what those foods are doing to their blood sugar. This is how I cracked the code. So if you're insulin resistant, you can kind of see a little bit. If you're type 2 diabetic, you can usually see pretty well with a continuous glucose monitor. But here's why, and I want everybody to pay close attention to this. Insulin lowers your blood sugar. That's its first job, is to take glucose from the blood and transport it across the cell membrane intracellularly. I think I put too many L's in there. Intracellularly, and then it lowers the amount of glucose that's in your blood because it gets put into the cells, or it gets taken to the liver to get turned into fat. That's what insulin's job is. So it lowers the sugar that's in the blood. Now, your blood needs 1 teaspoon of sugar at all times for you to stay alive. If you drop your blood sugar too low, for instance, with type 1 diabetics, they can die. They can slip into a coma and die. That's diabetic coma. People without type 1 diabetes, that will never happen to, because your body has all the mechanisms to catch it. So your blood sugar will never really go low enough for you to die. Your body will eat away at its muscle. So when you're producing insulin and you don't have insulin resistance yet, your insulin is still working. So when you eat an apple and peanut butter and it goes up a little bit, but then it comes right back down, what brought it down? It wasn't that it only spiked your blood sugar a little bit. What brought it down was that you, behind the scenes of that continuous glucose monitor, produced an enormous amount of insulin to activate all that glucose and wipe the blood clean. This is why everyone is developing insulin resistance. Because what happens at the cellular level is insulin goes into the door lock. Imagine your cell membranes like a door, okay? They all have doors on them. Those are the receptors. And those doors open and close based off of the hormones that come knock on the door of the cell wall. Well, when insulin knocks on the door, the glucose channel opens, the glucose door opens. And so if you hit that door too many times with insulin and try to unlock the door too many times, the keyhole wears out. The receptor wears down. And that is when you develop insulin resistance. The cell does not respond to insulin anymore because you did too much insulin on the cell and now it's numb. It's like you created a sort of a nerve damage effect to your cells with insulin. Okay, so I have had multiple women in my program that will contest to this. And if you're on the chat tonight, then speak up. They had insulin resistance, diagnosed, 45 years old, 50 years old, 55 years old, and they're like, I just ate a healthy diet. I've been eating paleo. I've been eating Mediterranean. How did I develop insulin resistance? I don't eat ice cream. Okay, and this is why they develop insulin resistance, because they're eating these foods like apples and peanut butter or rice with, chicken stir fry on top, or whatever they think they're eating that's healthy, and it's just driving that blood sugar up, but they don't see it yet. They don't see it yet because the system isn't broken, but it breaks really quickly, you guys. Like I've seen people within a month start showing signs of insulin resistance. They go in, no signs. They go back for their yearly checkup and oh shit, they've got their doctor saying your fasting glucose is 110. You got to do something about this. Fasting glucose should be 80. Okay, and that happens when you do too much insulin over time, but the system takes time to break. It doesn't happen at once. You got to do too much for too long and then it breaks. And that's why everybody's experiencing that. So this is what I'm going to say about the apples and peanut butter. We're going to share the screen in just a minute. Like I said, if you are one of those people who is an NFL player, if you are like some sort of professional athlete, then this doesn't pertain to you. But for 98% of the population sitting on their ass drinking beer, watching you play football, those are the ones I'm talking to. You guys can't eat like NFL players and expect the same results. Okay? It's just not gonna work. Little kids can get away with it. Little kids can get away with anything, you guys. They're brand new to the world. They hit the reset button. Their bodies are working still. And even into their 20s. right? You don't start feeling shit break down till you're around 30, 35. And then you start going, I can't go out to the bar and stay out all night anymore, right? I can't do all this bad stuff anymore. I feel it now harder, deep. I don't think I'm going to survive this. So this is the deal. We want to make sure everyone is informed. Tom, my husband, is type 1 diabetic. He got diagnosed when he was 15 years old. He, by trade, is a CPA, investment banker. This guy knows numbers. He watches his blood sugar like a freaking CPA. Okay, and so this is how I've learned everything I learned that you guys see on my reels. This is how I've learned all of this, is by watching him. It wasn't my nutrition school. That didn't teach me. And I'm board certified, and it wasn't my board certification test. They didn't give two shits if I knew about blood sugar on there. And I'll tell you, the doctors don't know, because what do they tell Tom? Oh, just bolus for the amount of carbs, or here's the little code, the math code, and just figure this out, blah, 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 plug it in. And that isn't healthy. That's not healthy for anybody. And they are starting to figure it out. They're starting to figure it out, because what did they do with the food pyramid? They changed it. Meat got a way bigger section, didn't it? And the starches got a little tiny section. And it's because the starches make everyone fat. They make everybody overproduce insulin. What do you feed, if I have any farmers on here, what do you feed cows to fatten them up? Grains. Because it makes them overproduce insulin. You feed them a bunch of grains. So, apples and peanut butter. We're getting off track. We got to get back to it. Thank you, girlfriend. Michelle, does postmenopause change how food reacts in your system? Yes, it 100% does. Yeah, I mean, your metabolic rate slows down, girlfriend, when you're after menopause. And then if you have issues with making estrogen, your body will want to store a lot of fat, because your body can make estrogen from the fat. Fat cells make estrogen. So if your adrenals aren't making estrogen like they should be, because they should be, then your body will be really sensitive to fat storage, so that you keep fat on your body, so you keep your estrogen levels, so that you can keep muscle on and bone health, really, ultimately. Yes, menopause does definitely change things. You can feel it. I mean, you know. Also, the older you get, the more insulin resistant you become. As you age, you just become more insulin resistant. If you're eating apples and peanut butter all the time, you become more and more insulin resistant. So the more insulin resistant you are, the more insulin you produce. Why is that? The more insulin resistant you are, the more insulin you produce. The reason this is because when your blood sugar stays high, your brain gets the message. And if you eat, let's say you eat a cupcake and it breaks down to sugar, but you have insulin resistant. So your body breaks it down, you produce some insulin, and your body's like, okay, we got this big sugar hit, we produce a lot of insulin, but the insulin's trying to go into the cell and it's knocking on the door, and the cell's not opening up because it's resistant. So that sugar stays in the blood and it stays elevated. And the brain goes, shoot, the blood sugar's still high, we must need more insulin. So it produces more insulin to try to help get it to activate. But what should have happened is you should have went for a walk. And then that would have helped with that insulin resistance, because movement always helps with the insulin resistance. So when you're insulin resistant, you will produce more insulin. And I believe they don't really know this. It's my theory, and I wish someone would study this, that's why type 2 diabetics, eventually their insulin depletes, is because the nervous system senses, okay, this insulin isn't working anymore. We're having to produce so much. So it either fatigues, which is what they think happens. They think that the pancreas just fatigues and stops producing insulin, which could be the case. I feel like maybe what happens is the brain gets the message, okay, insulin's not working anymore. We're going to shut down the production of insulin because insulin is an expensive thing for your body to make. When you make any hormones or neurotransmitters inside your body, that requires high metabolic load, and it's expensive nutrient wise for your body to make those hormones. So it just goes, okay, well, I'm just gonna whatever, I'm just gonna stop making insulin and that'll be the end of that. And then the type 2 diabetics have to take insulin because their body isn't producing it anymore. Type 1 diabetics, that happens in teenage years, and it's because they think it's an autoimmune condition. I don't believe that. I don't believe it's an autoimmune condition. I believe that there's something deeper with that. And their bodies just stop producing insulin. They, at a young age, they just, they're done. They have no insulin resistance. Prior, their bodies just stop producing insulin. And that can happen little. I mean, I've known 2-year-olds that have type 1 diabetes. That's sad. It's really sad because it's a very stressful disease to manage. And this is how we figured it out, right, you guys? I mean, I married my soulmate, and I am on my 3rd fucking marriage now, okay? And I finally found the right one, 3rd time's the charm. And I'm like, I'm going to keep this guy healthy forever. And I need to figure out how to do this. And so I worked with him, and he taught me everything about insulin that I know today. And so this is what we're going to do. We're going to share the screen now, and I'm going to show you what we did. So Tom posted some questions in ChatGPT and about this, because we had so many people arguing with us. Full screen with, no, we're going to do screen share. And can everybody see it okay? Screen share over here. Okay. Tom, can everybody see it okay?
I can't yet. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And I'm sorry you guys couldn't see everybody chatting it up. Next time I'll put the chat up. They couldn't see the chat, Tom? I'll put the chat up. We had a lot of people chatting over here. So this is what we figured out. We figured out that ChatGPT is the place to go. So now chat, you got to be careful because chat will tell lies. We know that. It will tell you, it's kind of programmed to tell you what it thinks you want to hear. And so we did not prompt it to do that. We prompted it to tell us the truth. And so what Tom basically asked it was, I want to know in 1,000 calories. So he came up here and he did something else. So he did, yeah. Can you come over here and show them what they did? Oh, Tom's going to get on. Stay on because you want to hear from the type 1 diabetic. I'll be right back.
Okay. So the first question to ask, the second question is really good, but the first question to ask is what's the macro difference between 250 calories of Snickers bar or 250 calories of apples and peanut butter. And so, man, it gave me a really nice table before. You know what? If I look in the in our chat, I'm gonna have to pull it up on the here. I'll do it on the phone. So the thing is that like the first question is apples and peanut butter. Are they basically the same macro, meaning like the same fats, carbs, and protein as a Snickers bar? And the answer is yes, like unequivocally, absolutely. It's almost completely identical. And this is the screen right here. So I'll show you. Can they see that? No, they can't. It's not going to focus on it. So the fat grams in apple and peanut butter are 16 grams. In a Snickers bar, it's 12 to 14. Carbs are in the apples and peanut butter are 31 to 38. And standard Snickers bar is 32 to 35. The protein is 7 to 8. And the standard Snickers bar is 4. So like there's a tiny bit more protein in the apples and peanut butter. So the first thing is from a macronutrient perspective, it is like the exact same thing. I mean, from your like how much your carbs are eating, the only slight difference that people will argue all day long about, but is a fart in the wind, is fiber. Do you want to talk about that?
Mm-hmm.
I'll get that to you in a
So, okay, yeah, get it to me. He's going to show us the chart in a minute. But fiber. What I thought was going to be the thing that kept everybody's blood sugar low and you could eat all these healthy foods, and it just wasn't the truth. So, yeah, but even real food, John, no, it's not macro schmacro. This is the whole point to what I'm saying here. This is what you're not listening to. Did you just hear my insulin resistance talk? If you're eating the foods that the fiber doesn't matter. On Tom's blood sugar, it is a fart in the wind. Okay, the fiber is a fart in the wind. Do you understand that? It does almost no difference. Almost no difference. So the whole food part of it doesn't matter. Now, if you're talking whole food in the form of meat, then yeah, just eat meat. You won't have any blood sugar issues. So if Tom eats 1,000 calories of apples and peanut butter, or 1,000 calories of Snickers bar, he's taking 1 unit less for the apples and peanut butter than the Snickers bar. And I have the math up here on ChatGPT. So I'm going to show you guys that it's 1 unit less, which is almost nothing. Out of 12 units. So an apple and peanut butter will require 11.6 units, and a Snickers bar will require 12.8 units of insulin for a type 1 diabetic. That's what ChatGPT said, and I'll show it to you in a minute. Or did you take it down, honey? Oh, no, it's up there. So basically, the fiber does almost nothing. It is a fart in the wind. The blood sugar still goes up, and you still have to give yourself pretty much the same amount of insulin. Okay, it's 10% less with apple and peanut butter. And in the world of fatsos, John or Jan or whatever, it doesn't matter. In the world of fatsos, it doesn't matter. 1 unit ain't gonna save your ass. Okay? When Tom eats 1,000 calories of tenderloin steak, he has to give himself 3 to 4 units of insulin for a tenderloin steak. For a Snickers bar, 12 units of insulin. For apples and peanut butter, 11 units of insulin. Okay? You understanding what I'm saying? If you eat 15 ounces of tenderloin, you ain't gonna be hungry for a while. You eat a Snickers and peanut butter bar or apple and peanut butter, you're gonna be hungry because you're gonna produce a lot of insulin, and insulin makes you hungry. Okay, so it's not just about, oh, just eat whole foods. No, that's what I'm telling you. Everyone is trying to eat whole foods, and what's happening? They're fat. They're still fat, and they have insulin resistance. That is the whole talk tonight. So that doesn't work unless, what, you guys? You're performing like an NFL player, or you're in Cirque du Soleil. That's the only time it's going to work for you. Otherwise, insulin resistance is waiting for you. It's coming. It's ticking time bomb. It's coming for everyone. Chancey, just eat meat. Yes, correct. That's what I've been saying this whole time. Now, can you eat vegetables? Let's talk about that. Yeah, you can, but they shouldn't be what you're nourishing yourself on. In Primal Bod, we eat them like condiments. We eat ferments. You can have, tomatoes, a little salsa on your eggs if you want them, like whatever. You want to have a little salad every once in a while. I do. I eat vegetables, but I know I'm a carnivore. But guess what? When was the last time you guys fed your dog something that wasn't meat? Dogs they'll get in the trash and eat whatever. But we don't think anything about calling them carnivores all day long, do we? They're carnivores. We know they are. And our cats too. But the dog gets into the trash for a reason and eats whatever. The dog will eat whatever you feed it. It's opportunistic. Most carnivores are opportunistic. They'll eat whatever. Cats are a little pickier. They're cats. We know how cats are. But they mostly will eat it. I mean, our dog used to go out into the farm that we had, and it would eat the apples off the ground that fell off the apple tree. Like, you didn't even have to feed him to him. He would just go out and eat them. So, you know, you can eat a little bit of that stuff as long as you know that's not where you're getting nourished. You're getting nourished with meat. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, girlfriend. She says, Kate says, type 1 here, and you are spot on about this. So let's look at it. So here we go. This is what Tom figured out. I'm going to get to the bottom here because it shows. Yeah, it shows here.
Yeah, there's a table down there.
Where is it though? It said, there was somewhere where it said type 1 diabetics. Bottom line, 250 kilograms.
The same amount, like in summary.
Yeah, in summary, it will be the same amount. I mean, you guys can go freaking chat this on your own and figure it out because it's the truth. It is just the truth. But people want to argue. And there was a woman on, and if you're on tonight, I hope you're hearing this, on our Facebook feed. And she was like, well, my son is type 1 diabetic. Here she is, right here. I made Tom pull it up because I was like, we need to talk about this. She says, my son is type 1 diabetic and the glucose spike is far less. Girlfriend, like, you really need to pay attention. I don't know how old your son is. If he's young, yes, like, young people are insulin sensitive. They're super insulin sensitive. So they can absorb that glucose immediately and then require less insulin because they're super insulin sensitive. But ultimately that makes me nervous for you that you said that. Like, I want you to like make sure that you're paying attention to this.
I'm going to show you the spot in here.
So Tom's getting the spot up here.
Further down, there's a table right here.
Okay, here it is. So this is what ChatGPT says. And this is, Tom, you can test this is right?
Yes.
Tom will say this is exactly right for the how many units he has to give himself. Yeah. So
the big thing here is, and for any of the type 1 diabetics, like, not often are you eating 1,000 calories worth of Snickers or apples and peanut butter. But I did that because I needed to get the decimal point because it rounded on me before. When I used 250, it dropped everything by a quarter. So I said, give it 1,000 calories. I just need to see the decimal point. And what it is it tells you 11.6 units. And this is, I told it to use clinical studies. I didn't give it any input like, here's how much insulin I take. This is not about me. This is the average type 1 diabetic. And I said, give me how much they would have to take between the two using only clinical research studies. And it says that apples and peanut butter with the fiber, a tiny bit of fiber in there, the fart in the wind fiber, drops your insulin needs by less than 10%. And that is exactly my experience. Mm-hmm. I eat apples and peanut butter and my blood sugar goes through the roof. And then people will say, well, the glycemic load may be the same, but the glycemic index isn't as high. If you're not diabetic, then this ultra doesn't matter to you, because a glycemic load, whether it gets spread out for longer or not, still requires the same amount of insulin. So the glycemic index thing is a complete, like, from a weight loss perspective or like health from a non-diabetic person, it's irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying, guys. This is what I'm telling you. But you know why I think people have such a big pushback about this? Because they're addicted to sugar. And they don't care. They want something to be labeled healthy sugar so that they can say, well, I'm eating my sugar healthy. You know, I'm eating healthy sugar. There is no healthy sugar, you guys. There just isn't. Our ancestors didn't eat apples, okay? Maybe they made booze out of the apples. They didn't eat them because there wasn't enough glucose in them to do anything. It was a fart in the wind. I'm saying that a lot, but that's the case. Julie wanted to know, how can I get my family member in this live? We're on YouTube, Julie, we're on Facebook, and we're on Instagram. So just tell them to join Primal Bod on one of those things. Just have them type in Primal Bod and we should show up as a live in one of those platforms. So, okay, you guys, this is the deal with this. I'm going to switch over. I know we got a bunch of questions, but I want you to one of my favorite classes in high school was a critical thinking class. I freaking loved it. And Mr. Watson was our teacher. He was super hilarious. And I freaking aced that class. I loved the critical thinking part. Like I always want to pick stuff apart and think about it critically. So I appreciate you guys being here and doing the same thing, really thinking about things critically, because most people have been on this kind of like autopilot zone where they're just listening to what everybody says. And what happens is you get information overload because there's so much information out there. And what you got to do is just step back and go, well, how does the system work? Literally anatomy, physiology it. Because it's all there. It's in the anatomy physiology books. So all you got to do is just anatomy physiology and you'll find your answers. Can you switch back to the full screen with chat? Yeah. Okay. And so we're switching with the chat because I want the chat to show up so that you guys we can answer some of these chat questions over here. And 100% overload. Yes. Girlfriend, I know what you mean. Everybody is over freaking loaded. That's what we do in Primal Bod. We take away all the noise that everybody else is yelling at you that hasn't worked for you, and we give you a clear signal. We help you understand. And I just want to say this too, that, you know, I can't tell you really what to do with how do I get the weight off? So I don't know if there's any questions about that. Like, if you just start eating meat, you'll lose some weight. But some girls, you know, they lose a little bit and then they end up plateauing. And that's because our metabolism adapts. And it's just a natural thing, biological, natural thing that our bodies do. And we, you know, it's not anything unhealthy. Your body just adapts to its environment over time. And fat is the diamond of the body. And what do I mean by that? It's a precious material. It is a precious material because it is the highest quality of energy source on your body in the form of ketones. So your body can turn your fat into ketones and it can make jet fuel for you. And so those ketones are really important to your body, and your muscles burn fat at resting. So your body likes to store fat. It wants to, and it was designed to store fat because in the wild, we didn't have opportunities to put fat on us before agriculture came around, before we selectively bred wild rice, which is super hard, almost no carbohydrate value in wild rice. Literally, you can't even break it out of the shell. If you've had wild rice, you know what I'm talking about. And wild rice is like hardly any carbohydrate compared to the rice that we selectively bred and that people are eating now. And so our bodies were designed, the DNA is set up with the program for insulin and this and that and the whole hormone system, the cascade of hormones that happens. That biochemical process in your body, in your fuel system, is still running the same as our ancestors. Just like their hearts were the same, they're beating just like ours. Same nervous system, same brain function. Our bodies are still running on that system, but our whole environment has now changed to domestication, meaning we've domesticated ourselves, and now we live in a world that we created, but it's slowly killing us. It's making us fat and miserable and diseased. So that's where we're at now. And our bodies are telling us, like, this isn't right either. Okay. Now our bodies will keep making fat because that's what it's been programmed to do. The DNA has been programmed to supply you with insulin to help keep everything balanced. Your blood sugar can't get too high, and your body loves to make fat because fat is jet fuel. If you're in a famine, if you get into ketosis, your body can burn for days and days and days. And the biggest threat to our ancestors was a famine. That was it, really. It was a famine. Maybe an accident, but mostly a famine was the biggest threat. So we are designed to be fat storing machines, you guys, and we're just eating so many foods that, Nina, you're funny, you're cute. So many foods that are causing these enormous amounts of fat growth. Insulin is a growth hormone. It is growing everything. And if you listen to any of the people out there in the world who know anything about insulin. They will tell you, and you go to YouTube and look it up for yourselves. Look all this up for me. Insulin grows things, including tumors and, polycystic ovarian syndrome is diabetes of the ovaries. That's what it is. Cysts, boils, skin tags, all a sign of insulin resistance. So we're having all these high insulin, and what are we dying from? Not famines, the opposite. Gluttony now. So I want to change this because, in all honesty, I didn't get into nutrition because I wanted to, tell people what they wanted to hear and just, take their money. I got into nutrition to seriously help people make a change in their lifestyle so that they could feel better later down the road. And it frustrates me when I see people go, oh, well, it's just that. No worries. No, you probably should consider this. You probably should consider what I'm saying and look into it for yourself. Because I don't think you really mean that. I don't think you really mean, if you choose to age the way our grandparents are aging, I watched my grandparents. They aged very poorly. But everybody, they're okay. It's in our culture. They were just going to put them in the home. They're going to have Depends. They're going to be in a wheelchair. They're going to not remember us. They're going to be drooling out one side of their face. That's okay. That is not okay. Who wants to live that life? I don't want to live that life. I don't want to see anybody else live that life. Oh my gosh. And I look at these healthcare workers that are working in these situations. They're not happy. And it's just heartbreaking to watch it all happen. So I get riled up because of this reason, because I don't think people are taking this seriously enough. But you guys are my crew here, chatting me up and with your great questions and being here, showing up. That's the first thing, is wanting to understand how this works. Tonight, we gave you a whole bunch of stuff. And if you want, this will be recorded. Go back and watch the recording. You'll have it there. It takes several times of listening to what I'm saying, in me saying it in 3 or 4 different ways, before you'll be able to understand it. That's okay. It's okay if you just brush it off and like, nope, I'm not going to listen to that. That's irresponsible, because everybody's body works this way. It isn't something we're getting out of, guys. Oh, that's awesome, Matthew. It's fun. You guys, my job is the funnest freaking job. I get women. Okay, just think about this. Women, not only am I in the best shape I've ever been in my life, and I freaking love my body now, thank God, because it was so many years of me not loving my body. But now I get to help a bunch of girls just like me, women. My age group is anywhere from 20. I've had an 85-year-old in my program. And I get to help these women understand for the first time in their life how their hormones work and how to burn fat in a healthy way and preserve their muscle. And I'm freaking everybody's best friend. You guys know that? My girls are they love me because I'm the only one that has helped them figure it out. And I know it sounds like, I don't ever want that to sound arrogant. I pray about it all the time. And I'm so thankful that I opened my head up to this, because I almost got out of it for a while. I was sad about the state of the world after COVID. And I thought maybe I'll get into real estate. And I decided not to. And we did Primal Bod. And I'm so glad we did. Because now I get to help girls get in freaking bikinis. All the time. They're just oh my gosh, I feel amazing. And it's just so fun to see your girlfriends get fit and healthy and feel good and just be so happy that they finally love how they look in the mirror. So Matthew, I think it's awesome. You want to help people. It is the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. I can say raising kids is the most rewarding thing as a mom. It's so awesome, but for a profession, man, for me, nothing gets better than this. And everybody has their own gifts and their own things. But for me, this is my mission. Okay, let's talk over here. Tom, do we have any like really screaming questions that I should get to in the chat?
Fly Guy gave us a super chat.
Fly Guy.
I remember eating grapes like it was healthy and my stomach blew up.
Okay, Fly Guy says, I remember eating grapes like it was healthy and my stomach blew up. Do you mean blow up like fat or like gassy? Like bloated, yeah. Oh my gosh, I the same thing happens to me. Like, if I eat fruit, I used to get the worst gas pain, stomach bloating. Like, oh my gosh, I'd be bent over. I had such bad gas pain. And so at the time I was vegan and I was just like, oh, you know, whatever. I never really thought much about it. This was so long ago, but you know, after I kind of learned about a few things, I realized, oh, I need to cut out FODMAPs. I need to cut out FODMAPs and see if this helps. And I cut out FODMAPs and it helped quite a bit, but it still didn't get like very much better. So my stomach was a disaster when I was eating high amounts of plants. I'll eat a little bit now and they usually don't cause me any issues if I stick to the ones that I know don't cause me issues. But again, they're like condiments. I don't eat a lot. I'll have a salad every once in a while, but yeah, the grapes are really, Tom says, the grapes are like freaking, what would you describe grapes as? Like Jolly Ranchers? Like they're like Jolly Ranchers. Remember the good old Jolly Ranchers? Grapes are the same on Tom's blood sugar.
Yeah, there's probably like, oh man, you know, you learn real quick when you're diabetic, like the things that people say are healthy that you just can't get away with. You know, like strawberries and raspberries like raise your blood sugar, but not like grapes, not as fast as grapes. Grapes are like like one of the fastest sources of glucose recovery. Like if you're low, grapes are great. Actually, the best one I've ever found is maple syrup, but that's a different story. But yeah, grapes are a freaking bomb. They will destroy your blood sugar.
Yeah. Okay. And Suzanne, awesome girlfriend. I'm super excited. And Karen Saylor, if we are in your program and not seeing results, fat loss, what would be your first recommendation to start again 5 months in and still not seeing ketosis? Karen, did you do the program? Because if you're 5 months in, did you do the basic or the full? Did you reach out to someone? Because that is not right, girlfriend. That does not happen in Primal Bod. You should be getting your ketones. How much weight did you lose? Like your ketones should be, if you would have reached out to someone, Karen.
We've had a lot of people that haven't joined that are 5 months since they started doing carnivore. You know, like I'm not sure she was in the program.
No, she says, if we are in your program and not seeing fat loss, what would be your first recommendation to start again 5 months in and still not seeing ketosis? Well, how much weight did you lose, Karen? I think if I remember correctly, Karen, you did the full. Yes, Karen, how much weight did you lose? That is my question, because some girls don't get high ketones. But if you didn't get your ketones, or did you reach out, or what was the situation? You're going to have to remind me better and tell me more, because I don't have enough information. And then you will need to definitely contact at primalbod.com or coaches at primalbod.com and reach out, because we're going to get you into ketosis if you didn't lose the weight. But that shouldn't have been the case. You should have reached out, because that's what we tell everybody in the program. If you're not seeing the results, you need to speak up, because that's what we do. We help you to get into ketosis, because it's tricky to figure out. So it's not easy to know what's going to take you into ketosis, which is fat burning. And you got to test your ketones to figure that out. So that's the part. That's why my program exists. And that's why I can't give people advice on things, because you have to track your ketones and you have to know how to find your Goldilocks, apply the metabolic flex. There's a bunch of things that you got to do to figure out what's right for you. This is how we help so many people, because everyone has their own different metabolic rate. And especially, if you're in your childbearing years, or if you're perimenopause, or if you're postmenopausal, you're going to have different stuff going on. So we track your ketones to see what it's going to take to get you into ketosis, because some bodies are really stubborn and some people burn straight fat. They don't convert to ketones. So like the muscle will burn straight fat. It won't necessarily burn ketones. Your cell can burn straight lipids.
Step back a little bit on the ketone monitor and walk through that process. Tell them, because they're a little confused about, about what ketone monitoring is.
Yeah. Tom wants me to talk about the ketone monitor. So ketone monitors you can buy them on Amazon. I like the Keto Sense. You can also do the Keto Mojo. The breath ones don't work that well, but if you want to test your ketones, you got to do the blood one. The blood one is the best, and it's just a tiny little finger prick, just like a glucose monitor. You just prick your finger, you test your blood, and it will tell you what your ketones are. And ketones are a measure of fat burning. Some people make ketones, and some people will make higher ketones. Some people will make lower ketones, but they'll still burn fat, because some people their fat cells will not convert to ketones. The cell will just burn the straight lipid. So we have different ways of tracking this. This is what we do over at Primal Bod. We have different ways of tracking this, whether it's through the scale, the inches, your pant size, and the ketones. So we have a lot of girls that come in and they're like, oh my gosh, my scale's not moving much, but my ketones are hot. My ketones are in range, but my scale's not really going down very much the last 2 weeks. And, so what's going on? And we know they're burning fat because their ketones are up. So what we tell them is, well, did you measure yourself? Yes, I did. And I'm down 10 inches all over. Okay, well, there you go. You're burning fat, but you're building muscle. Muscle weighs more than fat. So anytime you put on muscle and you burn fat, the scale will look like it's plateauing and you will look like you're making no progress, when in reality, you're building muscle. And most of my girls that come in are severely under eating protein. Severely under eating it. And so when they start eating high amounts, they start eating the high amounts and they start putting on the muscle. So it's pretty awesome to watch it happen, because they're getting their insulin in the perfect place that they can build muscle but they can burn fat at the same time, which I don't know anybody else that can do that. I don't know any other program that can help you do that. And we've seen girls in our program. I mean, I've worked with professional athletes and professional bodybuilders, competitive bodybuilders that have busted their PRs doing Primal Bod. So we know they're getting stronger. And of course, we have the DEXA scan. The DEXA scan shows an increase in muscle mass and a decrease in fat and visceral fat. But DEXA scans aren't that accurate. I feel like they're about 30 to 40% accurate. They're not 100%. So we can't really go off of that. I want 100%. But we know, because girls get stronger because they can lift heavier, but they also get these nice lean, dense muscles. They get small. So their pant size goes way down. And I had one gal in my program early on. She came in and she was like nervous because she was losing weight very slowly. Her ketones were great. She was losing weight very slowly, but she was losing it. And by the time she was done, she wanted to lose I think she was wanting to lose 40 pounds. And by the time she was done, she ended up losing 15 or 20 pounds in the 3 months. But her pant size went from a size 15 to a size 2. I'm not kidding you. So she was eating protein meat 3 times a week. She was eating hardly any meat. And then she started eating a bunch of meat. She put her weighted vests on, going for walks, and she just built all of this muscle. So she thought she had a lot more fat to lose, but really she needed to put on a ton of muscle, and she looked amazing. I mean, she was tiny. So that's what we do, you guys. We use the ketone monitor to track the fat burning. And if we have, I can't go back and see what was, Karen, you just need to reach out, girlfriend, because we don't let really anybody slip by, and you should know that because I say it a lot. If you're not getting your ketones up, that's the whole reason you're here, is to understand how to do that. That's the reason people join Primal Bod, is to understand how to get in ketosis in a healthy way without taking their metabolism and eating away at their muscle. And that is the point I need you to understand in the program, is you're going to be figuring that out. That is the thing, but we can't figure it out until you start tracking your ketones and doing the things we need you to do to maneuver in your day to make those ketones fall into that perfect Goldilocks range where your insulin will be perfect. Keto Sense, Carrie. Keto Sense is my favorite. You can do the Keto Mojo. Sometimes the Keto Mojo isn't accurate, especially for the glucose side of it. So Keto Mojo, though, is what other people use in the overseas. Overseas. Sorry, I'm reading the chat while I'm talking at the same time. Okay, Karen, thank you. Reach out. Or you need to do some more walking, girlfriend. Walk, 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 people. Like, that is one of my biggest advices, is walk, walk, walk. Did you know, I just taught this to my girls today on the Zoom. Your muscle burns fat when it's doing low level activity. So walking, perfect example. You will be burning fat while you're walking. Or when you're at rest, you will be burning fat. The more muscle you have, the more fat you will need to burn, because the muscle literally gobbles up the fat for fuel. It uses, when your muscle is resting, it uses fat for fuel. It prefers fat for fuel. That's why I say some girls don't get their ketones up. It depends on how much you lost, Karen. Depends on what your inches are. What's your pant size? Did it go from a 10 to a 4? Okay, girlfriend, then don't worry about your ketones. You're doing fucking great. But that might not be the case. I don't know. But for where did I get off track at? Tell them I got off track here. Anyways, so the deal is you got to learn how to figure all this shit out. That's what I mastered. That's what I do over at Primal Bod. But, we're getting some more. Oh, walking. Thank you. Thank you. Suzanne reminded me, walking. So, and we're not sharing with chat. Tom, did you?
They can see the chat on our screen. So.
They can?
Yeah, it's not for them. It's duplicated.
Okay, so I just do full screen. They can see the chat?
Yeah.
All right. We'll figure this out. Walking, walk, walk, walk. So you're in fat burning mode when you're walking, but as soon as you start getting your heart rate up, what's going to happen? Your heart rate goes up and your body is going to say, okay, we're doing more intense activity now. We need to trigger cortisol to release glycogen. Glycogen will come out of your muscles and your muscles will switch to burning sugar, glucose. Glycogen is glucose. Okay, so it will switch over to burning glucose and you will be kicked out of fat burning. And I was talking on my Zoom today and I was like, there's a guy that talks about this on, I heard him one time on an interview and he's the only one I've ever heard talk about it. And I'm like, dude, this guy gets it. He gets it. And I was like, his name is really weird. It's like Cut Santa because he's a bodybuilder and he's kind of an older gentleman. But then one of the girls in my group was like, his name's Ripped Santa. He lives in Minneapolis. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know him. Like, I don't know anybody else that knows him. Like, hardly any people know him. Ripped Santa. He was on an interview and he was talking about this. And I'm like, I met the only other guy besides me that understands this thing. So when you're in walking and you're in a parasympathetic state, meaning you're walking at a nice slow pace and you're like, yeah, chilling like a villain, just walking in my neighborhood, just hearing the birds, breathing in the fresh air, getting the sunlight in my eyes. That keeps you in a state of parasympathetic and your muscles will stay in a state of rest, which means they will burn fat. As soon as you get into 80s power walking, ladies, and your heart rate goes up and you start huffing and puffing, you'll drop out cortisol. And then your cortisol triggers glucagon. Glucagon is the opposite hormone of glycogen. Glucagon raises glycogen, or releases glycogen. Glycogen is excess sugar, 1,200 calories worth. And I know I say calories, and calories are really bullshit. It's just a measure unit of fuel. 1,200 fuel sources worth of fuel in your liver and your muscles that will get deposited into your bloodstream, where then insulin will come out, and then insulin will activate that glucose, and then any extra insulin will go sit on top of your fat cells and lock it down so you don't burn it as fuel. Because your body doesn't want you to burn fat. Why? Because fat's the diamond of the body. It's jet fuel. Your body doesn't want you to burn it. And in the wild, it would be really hard to make it. So you're designed to be a fat storing machine, hibernating bear. Okay, so yes, Carrie, 80s aerobics. So if you walk at a nice slow pace, you will just stay in that nice restful state. You will keep yourself in fat burning, in your muscles will just keep burning fat. But you have to build muscle, and walking isn't going to really build a lot of muscle. Weight training will build muscle. Now, walking will keep muscle on your body, but weight-bearing exercises are the only thing that is going to that is only going to build muscle. It's only weight-bearing. So walking with a weighted vest. Just put your weighted vest on and go for a walk. My arms got jacked just walking with a weighted vest, and my core just walking with a weighted vest. I didn't get like super big fast twitch muscles like I'm trying to grow now with the weights. But weightlifting till failure, heavy weights, 10 to 12 reps, whatever, hard failure. And literally when I'm working out till failure, you can hear me upstairs grunting like I'm in labor. Like that's how hard I'm trying to get that next rep up. And my last rep, I can't get up, but I try. That trying drives the muscle growth. Even just the trying is what drives the muscle growth. That's why sprinting works too with the muscle growth, because you're running as hard as you can. And if your body is told we got to run fast or we got to lift heavy, it will put more muscle on your body. Simple as that. But walking, nothing replaces a walk, in my opinion. If all you can do is walk, just do that. If you can afford to put a weighted vest on, do that. I can't remember what's the Hanzo. The weighted vest that I love is called the Hanzo, Hanzo. I don't have a code for you guys or anything like that. Just get on Amazon, Hanzo vest. And that's my favorite. It's pricier, but I'm telling you what, it is the best one for the fit, the way it sits on your body, and you can just walk. Don't go crazy, even if you just do 10 pounds. Okay, you don't have to go crazy. And again, get your heart rate up and just push it too hard and get that cortisol kicked on again, you guys, because it'll kick you out of fat burning. Okay. So what other questions do we have over here? Yes, Kimberly can't walk because she's healing from a back injury. Well, praying for you, girlfriend. Hope you heal soon. But you got to rest. When you got to rest, you got to rest. And that's just what happens. When I tore my ACL, yeah, I was sitting around being a little crying bitch about it. I hated sitting around, but I had to heal. So I just went, okay, I'm just going to get my Sudoku puzzles and I'm going to get caught up on YouTube and just sit here. It's boring, but you got to do it. Okay. Any other good questions, Tom, that I need to, Bud Girl 2825 says she's 3-year carnivore, came to your senses after breast cancer diagnosis. Yeah, I know it's hard. Well, I'm glad everything's working out for you, girlfriend. That's what I see. That's what I don't want to see it lead people to, and thank God she figured it out. Biking, I think, is fine too. I love going for bike rides. But again, here's the thing. If you're biking or dancing or, playing pickleball, the things where you're having fun and you're smiling, you're not really producing that much cortisol. Yes, it might kick you out of fat burning a little bit, but the endorphins you're getting and the happiness you're getting from the movement way overthrows anything with cortisol. Okay. So yeah, you'll release a little sugar. It might kick you out of fat burning, but you're going to increase your muscle growth because you're happy and you're doing movement that's making you happy. So I don't care if you like freaking riding a scooter or whatever that you're getting your movement on, roller skating, and your heart rate's getting up, but you're having a blast. Keep doing it. Heck yeah, keep doing it. I'm talking to the girls who are like, I gotta just work harder to get all this fat off of me. That's the girls I'm talking to. You don't have to do that. You can walk at a nice slow pace, not like super slow, like 3 to 3.5 miles per hour, right? That's where you want to be. Angela, carnivore, but no ketones and high glucose. I'm not diabetic. Just didn't happen the last time I went carnivore for 4 years. Yeah, I know. I get a lot of girls in my program that are carnivores, Angela, who have the same problems. They get plateaued. They can't get into ketosis. And it's has to do with, glycogen, what your activity level is, how much fat you're eating, how much insulin you're producing, because meat and fat can make you produce a lot of insulin. If Tom eats a ribeye, a 16-ounce ribeye versus a 16-ounce tenderloin, way different things are happening to his blood sugar. That ribeye is making his blood sugar go way up. And with the saturated fat slows the absorption of insulin. And that saturated fat is literally locking his blood sugar down. So he can't get the insulin to work. The insulin can't get into the receptor because it's blocked by all the saturated fat. And so guess what? His blood sugar stays high. So he has to give himself more insulin. And so I've seen it happen. I mean, we were dealing with a ribeye the next day. So, and it was just a ribeye. He didn't eat anything else but the ribeye. He eats a tenderloin, no issues. So fat plays a part in insulin. Now, we need to have fat. We need healthy amounts of fat. And in Primal Bod, I average around 200 grams of protein a day and 100 grams of fat. That's what I eat. But for most carnivores, they're eating a lot more fat than they realize. Most carnivores aren't tracking. I don't know if you are, girlfriend, or not, Angela, but a lot of carnivores aren't tracking their fat intake, and they're eating way more fat than they think, and they're eating a lot of protein, a lot more protein. There's a lot of hungry girls out. I'm one of them. I can put down 200 to 300 grams of protein a day easily. No problems. Yesterday, I probably ate 300 to 350 grams of protein. No shit. So, there are a lot of women out there that are hungry and they just overeat the protein. And the thing is you can eat that. You can eat 300 grams of protein and, 150 grams of fat. Once you've burned the fat off of your ass, you can eat like that. But if you have fat on your body, you have extra meals saved up. 1 pound of fat on your body is equivalent to 3,500 calories of fuel. Okay, so think about that. How many pounds of fat do you have on your body? That's how much extra energy you have in the form of fuel on your body. So you have to put yourself into a place, and for some women, it's not a deprivation, because some women need more protein to increase their metabolic rate, the thermogenic effects of protein. Protein will boost your metabolism. Some girls need more protein to help boost their metabolism, and then their metabolism boosts, and then they can get their ketones up. But some girls are eating too much meat, and their body goes, well, we're just getting enough. We don't need to tap into the fat. You're probably not going to gain extra fat. Some women do a little bit, but you won't gain a lot from just eating meat. But what will happen is you will not burn your own fat, because your body doesn't want to burn your own fat. That's the diamond of the body. It's a precious resource.
So your body doesn't want to. So it just isn't going to burn it if you don't put it in a deprivation state. And this is why the gym bros think calories in, calories out. But the reason why I'm saying this for carnivores is this is strictly only applies to carnivores because it isn't a calories in, calories out thing. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But with carnivores, they have to decrease the amount of glucose they're eating because that glucose is causing an insulin spike. Extra fat will cause an insulin spike paired with glucose. So they have to decrease the amount of insulin spikes. Really, it's not necessarily calories. They have to decrease the amount of insulin that they're producing. And you do that by cutting back on what you're eating and moving more. So, yeah, Karen, you missed it. There was a live. I announced it in all the groups. So if you are a carnivore who's stuck and you can't figure it out, that's what we do at Primal Bud. We help girls get in bikinis who are ex-carnivores and they can't get into ketosis. We will help you do that, girlfriends. So, yeah, insulin is a tricky thing to figure out. But once you get the insulin figured out, you will have all your answers, which means you will know exactly what you need to do for the rest of your life. And it's super fun over here when you understand how you need to eat and how you need to move in the right ways, because there's a lot more. There's so much. Thank you, Nina. Sweetheart. Yeah, Trina, it depends, especially if you keep messing up. I don't know if you mean you keep messing up because you're cheating. And I tell my girls, like, you wouldn't cheat on your husband or your partner. Why are you cheating on yourself? So don't cheat on yourself. You're only cheating yourself. We do help guys. We have a men's program. So yes, the men's program is super awesome. I just started the men's program for my girls' husbands, really. Like, I had no intentions on doing it for guys. And then my girls were like, can you just do this? My husband needs it. And so then I started the men's program. What if you want to get pregnant? Can you eat this way? We don't work with pregnant women, Becca, because you really shouldn't be trying to burn fat when you're pregnant or trying to get pregnant. If you're trying to get pregnant and you have excess fat on your body, then yes. But if you can't be trying while you're in my program. I mean, you can join, but you should wait until after you're the baby to do all of that, because you really don't want to be in there trying to lose weight while you're trying to get pregnant at the same time. And yeah, we just don't want, it's just too much, and I'm not a doctor. Mindy Peltz. Yes, she's sweet. I think she's cool, the fasting stuff that she does, but she's okay with people eating carbs. So, I know a lot of these doctors are really good, and they meet people where they're at. And that is important. That is really important that these doctors are out there, because they move you along the scale of health. Not everybody's ready for Candy Frazier yet. Some people have to take baby steps, and Mindy is a baby step for a lot of people. So I love her for that. She is like, okay, people are going to play around with fasting. People who normally eat, 6 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night are going to be like, okay, I'm going to narrow my eating window. I love that she's doing that and meeting people where they are and moving them gently. I think she's great for that. So yeah, I love what she's about, but Primal Bot is more advanced. It's for the people that are tired of freaking playing around, that have already done all this stuff. And they're like, I tried every kind of diet on the planet, and I actually need something that works. That's not a diet. And that's what we do. What kind of fasting do we recommend? Well, we recommend, I recommend everyone on the planet just do 1 24-hour fast a week. I mean, that people would get so much better if they just did that. It's hard for people who are hypoglycemic though, that overproduce insulin and they have this high insulin all the time because they're hungry. Man, they're hungry. People with high insulin, that's why they get hangry. They are just hungry all the time. Once you get into ketosis, that goes away. You can go for hours without eating and you're just like, yeah, I'm good. Like when you were a kid again, because you're burning fat and your leptin's working. You know, when insulin is high, leptin can't work. Insulin kicks leptin out. So if you're always producing insulin, you're always hungry. You never get the signal to stop eating. Rebounders, I mean, if you like it, I think it's okay. It's not something that, you know, I think is going to really transform body composition, but you know, if you have fun doing it, then do it. Yes. Oh, everybody's asking stuff about the tanning bed, aren't they? Okay. We can talk a little bit about the tanning bed, huh, Tom? Just quickly. The tanning bed that I have is from Tansies. I think Tom posted in the chat or sent somebody a DM. And it's a medical grade tanning bed. The lights, it's low EMF. It's freaking amazing.
Yeah, it took us a while to find one that was like, that I thought was decent. So we got in touch with a guy, his name's Kirk, and he's the president of this place. TANESES is what we have. They're more expensive, but when you look around, the other option is to go with something like made in China, and it's just a bunch of plastic crap. And I haven't, you know, full disclosure, we haven't taken our EMF, like the tri-field monitors, and measured them specifically, so I don't know exactly what the difference is between like a tanning bed salon versus ours, but they use higher quality equipment and they use low EMF ballast. And so that was the whole thing. So I think you can get like a cheap like China one for like probably $4,000 now, maybe $5,000, you know. And the Tansies ones are around $6,000. We got the B32 from their website. If you're serious about getting one, you want to get one from Tansies. They're out of Canada. I think they figured out how to avoid the tariffs or something. I know his prices didn't go up because of the tariffs.
Maybe because it's medical.
Yeah, maybe because I don't know what it is, but if you tell them that you found them because of us, they'll give you a discount. So, and it's just like a handshake deal. He's like a cool guy. He's just a good old boy.
Mm-hmm. I love the really tanning bed. It saves my life in the living in Antarctica where I live. I live in Antarctica, if you didn't know. Formerly known as Wisconsin. I renamed it Antarctica because that's what it feels like here. That's why you see me freaking slathering the stuff on my lips, because I've been outside shoveling snow. We didn't buy a snow plow because we're like, fuck it, we're shoveling it. We're primal. So we've been shoveling snow and my lips are so freaking chapped and underneath my nose too, because my nose will run a little bit when I'm out there, and I don't wear a face mask because I'm a badass. And I'm just out there just shoveling the freaking snow and getting all this chappedness under here. So I'm going to give Bethany a shout out, because when I went to see her in Laguna Beach, or they're not in Laguna Beach, we stayed in Laguna Beach, but she's a little further out on her farm, but she gave me a pack of beautiful, all these things that she makes, and they're just, packaging is freaking gorgeous. But this lady's Primally Pure, and gentlemen, you could use this too. I think there might be a little pink tint to it actually, so you could be pretty. But Primally Pure lip oil. So when we were there, she's beautiful, but she's got these beautiful lips, and she's just rubbing this lanolin straight on her lips. Mariella, this is what I'm using. Primally Pure lip oil. It's Bethany. Bethany, you were supposed to get me a code, girlfriend.
She did.
She did? She got us a code? What is it?
We got to sign up for it still.
Oh, we haven't signed up. We haven't signed up for it yet, so we don't have a code for you guys. I'm sorry. On our next live, I'll tell you what the code is for that. I don't know what it is. Anyways, so she was rubbing lanolin. She says, my lip oil that I gave you in your pack, she said, has lanolin in it. She goes, I love lanolin for the lips. Have you used lanolin? And I said, yeah, on my nipples when I was breastfeeding. I love lanolin. And she said, have you tried it on your lips? And I said, no, I never thought to do that. Is it amazing? And she's like, yeah. She goes, I use the straight lanolin because I love the thickness of it, and it just goes right into the lip and it just feels so good. And I was like, well, I wonder if it has vitamin D in it, because, and I don't know, I could just be pulling shit out of my ass right now, but that is how they get vitamin D, is out of lanolin, sheep lanolin. So it's the waxy substance that comes off of the skin of sheep that is in their wool, like underneath between their wool and their skin. That's where lanolin sits. And vitamin D is in the lanolin. So synthetic vitamin D, if you get a good brand of synthetic vitamin D, unless you're taking cod liver oil, which is another good way to get vitamin D in, but synthetic vitamin D, like the company that I use is lanolin based, meaning they get it from the sheep lanolin. And so I said, I wonder if your lanolin has vitamin D in it. You should have it tested. And I was like, cause that would be awesome to be able to put, natural vitamin D on your lips from lanolin. But it's got lanolin is the first ingredients. It's so silky smooth. It's got organic castor oil, pomegranate sterols, organic mango butter, coconut oil, tallow from grass-fed cows, mica, organic peppermint, essential oil, vanilla fruit extract, Peru balsam resin oil, and benzoin resin extract, stevia extract, and non-GMO vitamin E. So it tastes a little sweet. I wouldn't lick your lips very much, but I'm not worried about it. I don't lick my lips when I put stuff on them anyways. I've trained myself not to do that. Because I just told you about stevia. It tastes barely sweet. Not even at all. About like toothpaste. Hardly anything. So this is it, ladies. This shit is awesome. I love it. I also use beeswax chapstick that my friend Melissa sends me from Register Family Bee Farm, and the beeswax is prettybomb.com too on the lips. And tallow, yeah, you can just use straight tallow on your lips. But I really love castor oil. Castor oil is so amazing for everything. I put it on freaking everything. At night, I'll do a castor oil on my face. So I'll do my normal face cleansing. I only use oils to cleanse with. And then I have an energizer spray that I use from a homeopathic spray that I get from this biochemist chiropractor that's freaking amazing, that helps repair the skin and help take out inflammation and redness. And I spray that. And then, I don't have any redness anyways. I just do it because I like it. And then I put on my moisturizer, which again is oil-based. And then I put on, sometimes I'll do a vitamin C packet on my face. Just put it on there a little tiny bit. And then I'll put castor oil over the top of that, and it just soaks in there and it just feels so good. But that's all I use. My skin, I never have done Botox. I'm 46. I have never done Botox ever. No lip injections, no any kind of work whatsoever on my face, none. So someone was saying in the comments of this reel, some guy did a hit piece on me in a reel, and somebody was saying, "Oh, she looks old." Somebody sent it to me, and I was like, I am fucking old. I'm 46 years old. I've raised 3 kids. I don't care. I don't care if I have wrinkles, you guys, but I'll take my blue light blockers off. No Botox. None. This is what it looks like. I love the no Botox look. I'm all about it. I don't want to look like everybody else, right? I like the natural look. I like the look from like the 70s. I think we need to bring that back. Like natural, beautiful, healthy. Okay. So anything else, Tom Fraser, that we need to go over?
Not for me.
Thank you guys. You're so sweet. You're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Shar. Oh, you guys are sweet. Oh, good. Yeah. So Mespino8214 says, carnivore for 2 years and hit a weight loss stall. I was confused and only introduced walking 10,000 steps a day and lost 8 pounds in a month. I think carnivore forgets that calories do matter. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you just give your body exactly what it needs to not burn fat, it won't burn the fat. You got to push it to burn the fat. Otherwise, you won't burn the fat. You got to push it to do that. Yeah, Trina, 40 isn't old. I know. I say that I'm old. I don't really feel old. I still feel like I'm 18. Anybody else out there? Man, I feel like now it's getting worse. Like, I feel like the older I get, like 20s and 30s, we're like, you got to be serious. You got to work hard. You got to do all this stuff. And now I'm just like, oh, but do ya? Awesome, Carrie. Yes, we do need more of the natural beauty products in the world. We do need more natural ways. I love it. You know how there's the whole Looks Maxine thing going on, which I'm doing a conference, you guys. I'm doing a conference in February 21st in Middleton, Wisconsin in February. God, who wants to come to that? Oh my gosh, we've already sold 100 tickets. Yes, you guys, if you're coming to the conference, I can't wait to see you. We're doing a conference in February 21st in Wisconsin. We weren't going to do a conference this year because we had so much going on. We had some other stuff going on, but I was like, no, we're just going to do it. We're going to do a conference. So it's going to be Primal Bod 101, and I'm going to talk about some stuff. And Looks Maxine is one of them, where we're going to talk about the biochemical processes in our body, like kind of like we talked about tonight, and how to optimize them. And basically, you know, you can do all this. If you live closely to nature, you will be sexy. Read my book. Get Sexy Girlfriend. We need my book down here, Tom. Get Sexy Girlfriend. Our ancestors were sexy. You should be too. But it says it all in my book. It's on Amazon. And we are going to be talking about the Looks Maxine, and we are going to be just, you know, figuring out how to stay natural and be beautiful. And I was thinking in the shower this morning, what was it? It was on the tip of my tongue. Now I think I lost it, about being a natural beauty, because it really is like, it's so much more beautiful than everything else. Like I see these girls, they have their nose done. Thank you, Shelly. They have their nose done. They have thank you, Melissa. They read our book. You know, they got the eyelashes on, and I'm okay with eyelashes. I wear them every once in a while, but they got their big nails on everything. Oh, it's annoying. They've got, you know, these girls are freaking 20. They're doing Botox, their lip injections. And it's like, you guys, you're so beautiful. You don't need that. You're more beautiful. You don't want to look like unreal, you know? And yeah, they get all this work done and they think that they look cuter, but cuteness comes from the fucking heart. Like, you gotta have personality. If you don't have personality, it doesn't matter what the knife does to you. It just doesn't matter. You gotta be cool. You gotta be cool. Shit, remember, you guys? That's what you went on. Like, nobody was super sexy when they were 20. I mean, you just aren't. You got shit going on. I mean, yeah, they look good. They're cute, you know? 20-year-olds are freaking adorable, aren't they? But you don't start getting sexy until you're in your 40s and you really know how to actually even have sex. Like, that's when you start getting sexy. When you don't give a shit anymore, your personality is fully arrived. You're fun, you're witty, you know, you're inappropriate when it's good to be inappropriate. Like, that is sexiness. And these girls that are doing it just to their face, it's like, you guys, work on your personality and your heart, and that's what will make you more attractive. That's how I feel about it. I feel bad for these girls that are doing all this, because our generation weren't pressured to do this stuff, were they? Like, we were pressured to have the tallest bangs. Oh, if you know, you know. We were pressured to have, like, you know, I don't know. Like, we weren't pressured to get nose jobs. We were pressured to be skinny. We were pressured to be skinny. And we were pressured to have fucking high bangs. Or lip liner, you know, one or the other. But we weren't pressured to do this other stuff. And the skinny back then was, you know, not really attractive. It was, and this is the new skinny now. Do you guys know that? The old heroin look of the models from the 80s, that's like the new skinny now. Everybody wants to look like that. All the celebrities. It's like, oh, that doesn't look attractive at all to me. Like, I want to see a booty. I like the sprinter bodies. I like the bodies of the women who are sprinters. I want to see booty and muscle definition, but not too muscly. Like, I don't want big blown out bodybuilder, muscly. I don't think that looks attractive either. I think we all know it looks healthy to have a nice physique. Okay, so tidal wave bangs. You were a foot taller. Oh, bud girl, you're cracking me up. Foot taller with the bangs. Oh yeah, I had the bangs too. I had the one straight up, and then the one the straight down. It was all the way down across the whole head, and then it was the one straight up off to the side. Remember that? And you just tease it and kind of blend it all in, and it was like a little open flower thing on your head. Oh my goodness, what in the heck were we thinking? Yep. Nina. I want to see pictures of you, Nina, with that hair. Oh boy, the fun we used to have, right? But I am glad we're moving into the future now. I am really glad. Yes, Get Sexy Girlfriend. The book is on Amazon. Get Sexy Girlfriend. Just type in Candy Fraser Primal Bod, Get Sexy Girlfriend, and it will pop up on Amazon. Yeah. What else was I going to say about that, Tom? Oh, I'm really excited about the future. I haven't been for a while, and now I am. So this might start some shit in the comments. We're staying on long tonight. Let's go till 8 o'clock. I'm having freaking fun with you guys. So now we got all the insulin stuff out of the way. Let's talk some smack now, shall we? So I've been terrified about the AI stuff. I'm like, oh, geez, please. I'm just terrified. Like, what's going to happen? It's already bad. Like, kids are freaking addicted to iPads and like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen? And so I'm like, okay, I just have to learn what's going on in the tech world, because right now I know nothing, absolutely nothing. I can barely work my mouse. Okay. So I know enough to know what ChatGPT does or Grok does. And like, I know what the potential could be. So I start listening to some interviews with Elon, because I really think Elon is in charge of a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I mean, he is like the wealthiest man on the planet. So I need to pay attention to what's going on with him. And I kind of needed, and I've heard lots of Elon interviews before, but I'm like, I need to know how he thinks. And there's some things when he says, I'm like, oh, that was really creepy. Shar says, that was really like creepy the way he said that. But I've been watching a lot of interviews lately, and I'm like really interested in how he thinks about the future, because he is saying basically, and he said this all along, so I appreciate this. Whether you like Elon or not, you got to appreciate this. He says, I don't believe that humans are ready yet for AI or robots or anything. I don't believe we're ready. He says, I would wait a long time. I don't think we should get into this now. He said that like 10 years ago. But he says, but everybody's going forward with it. So he got a little freaked out about it, apparently. And he saw what China was doing, and, you know, cause they're so advanced over there. And he's like, if I don't do something, then everybody else is going to do it. And we need to do it. He needed to feel like he had some skin in the game, like he had some control over what was happening with AI, to hopefully steer it in a benevolent way. Now, whether you believe that or not, I don't know how conspiracy theory you are down the rabbit hole of all the Illuminati and all the stuff. But, you know, I see what he's doing, and I'm trying to understand it better, and I'm hoping for the same outcome. I'm hoping for benevolence with AI. I mean, our lives are going to change so dramatically over the next 5 years. I was telling the girls on my Zoom today, think about what our grandparents went through, you guys. My grandparents, when they got married, literally had a freezer box. They literally had a box that you put dry ice in, and that was their fridge. When they died, there was iPhones. The iPhone had just come out. Think about that progression of technology. Literally, they didn't have a freaking running fridge when they got married, to now there's a freaking mini computer in your hand. Think about what's going to happen if you extrapolate that soon. Think about what's going to happen with AI. It's going to happen way faster because AI is going to learn how to do everything faster. It already is. And they're showing us the Sesame Street version of it. Okay. They have the advanced stuff. They're just not out with any of it yet. They have to make sure that it can work. So we can't stop it. I've realized that. And I think Elon was under the impression, I mean, kind of like what he said in his interview was basically like, if you can't beat him, join him. And so that's what he did. And he's making robots now for everybody. And let's just all pray that he himself is benevolent. I think he is. I think he might have some issues with things, but I'm hoping for benevolence because we can't, oh man, we have too much bad shit going on, don't we? Like there's too much corruption. Human race has to go on, it does. So I love watching the Elon interviews because he has an interesting take. And I think a lot of people are just quick to take clips out of stuff. They're quick to take clips out of stuff and then judge them based off of the clip. And I know the reason I feel so good about watching these full interviews with Elon is because people do that to me. People think that I'm a psyop. No joke. They think I'm a psyop. They think I was hired by the government to do what? Help people get skinny? Like, come on. You think the government gives two shits about that? But literally, you'll see it in my comments. She's psyop. And it's like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. They think I'm AI. They think I'm not real. They think I'm not a real person. It's like, okay, well, how about the 6,000 women who've been through my program and thousands of people who have met me in person? I mean, sometimes it just goes too far down the conspiracy theory stuff. Like I'll entertain a little bit of it, but sometimes it's like, I don't know. Because I've had people say this stuff about me and it's just not true. Farther from the truth. Couldn't be further. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and listen to him. So I've been watching the Elon videos and they're pretty freaking interesting. There was one up on YouTube. I don't have it. I should have got it up for you guys. Let's see if we can find it here and I'll share the screen and show you if I can find YouTube Elon in the video I watched, which was pretty basic. The girl interviewing him was like, I thought she did a great job. She was pretty basic. Elon Musk interview. Let's see what we can find here. Where was that one? Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see it. Oh, there. Okay. So this one here on Doge, AI, and are we in a simulation? This was a good one. I like this one. I've watched a lot of other ones too with him, but this one I really liked because she asked kind of like, I don't want to say girly questions, but she asked the questions that I care about. So give it a try, you guys. Maybe you like it. I don't know. Maybe you don't care. Which is okay too. Not everybody has to care about anything. I just know that sometimes AI keeps me up at night, like thinking about what's going to happen. It's going to be different, but they want to move into universal high income, meaning like people don't have to work anymore. It's pretty cool. So listen to it, see what's up, whether it's the New World Order, no one knows. We're going to have to wait and see how it all plays out and just pray about it and make sure that, we're all sending good energy towards benevolence. Okay. Yeah, he did say he wasn't human. Yes. I know. Susie X Sunshine. That freaked me the F out too. I'm not going to lie. He was like, I'm not human. And then he kind of sat there and then he was like, Elon, if you watch enough of his interviews, you will feel the awkwardness. Yeah, Tom says he's a little autistic. He's a nerd. And I have met guys like him that are very dry, that are like that. And they just think it's funny. And when no one laughs, they kind of get a little weird about it. They're like, I don't know if I made it funny or not. So you just don't know. You don't know. But that did freak me out when he said that too. He's said a couple of things. He said one time, if AI is going to take civilization out, I want to be here for it. I want to watch it happen. I'm like, oh my gosh, why would you say that? Dude has the ability to do anything. He's the richest guy ever that has ever existed. And he says that it's like, do something. You know what else I would like these rich guys to do that they haven't done yet? Which he says, life consciousness is like the most important thing. We need to extend it. That's why he wants to go to Mars. We need to secure consciousness because we don't know if there's other life forms out there. So we got to secure consciousness here on our planet and, whatever. But I just think like we got to fucking clean up planet Earth. Have you seen the trash? Have you seen the plastic problem? Go to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is literally an island of garbage. Just go there and see. Beautiful tropical freaking paradise that has been destroyed with plastic and garbage. So can't we just clean up first? Can't we just hire multiple people to clean up? And then can't we bend the laws with our checkbook, because that's what they all do, and figure out how to make it a law that single-use plastics are banned now. No one can use them anymore. Let's do that and clean everything up, because I'm sick and tired of seeing the garbage pile everywhere. One thing I love about living in Wisconsin is there isn't really garbage here. There isn't really garbage in Wisconsin. I love it. There's hardly any garbage. So, okay, we're wrapping things up. I know, I think the same thing about him sometimes too, but I also, yes, Gabrielle. So yes, I know I've looked into his parents. I've watched all of the stuff that went around during COVID. If you guys haven't seen Q and all this, I watched everything. I looked into all the stuff, listened to Jessie Baltar, whatever her name is, and the demonic sex. I've done all the investigations and done all that. So I know who his parents are. I know who he comes from. I know the bloodlines. I know about all that. But the thing that I'm saying is, people think I'm AI. So I don't really know how much to believe, because the conspiracy theories go a little wild. And do I believe that some of it's true? Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely I do. I 100% believe that some of it's true, but some of it, I don't know. So we don't know what's going on, really. We have no idea. Okay. Yeah, I know. David Icke, he's been around for a long time. The lizard guy. Yeah, I mean, you got to do your own research and you got to come up with your own minds about all the conspiracies. I tried to stay out of it for the most part. After people started thinking that I was AI and I was a psyop, I was like, yeah, I'm out. Peace out on this stuff. I got to go on and move on with my life and help people. Much more there. Gabrielle wants to know, before I go, can I talk about supplements? What's changed? Yes, Gabrielle, we can talk about that. So what has changed with supplements? Eric, the conference we're doing is February 24th at Middleton. You can get tickets on the website, Tom.
Send us an email.
Contact at Primal Bod if you want to go to the conference, and we'll send you a link. So supplements. Melissa. I am not an AI. I am real. She's seen me in person. Thank you, Melissa. So supplements that have changed for me, really the only supplements that have changed for me are vitamin C and magnesium. And the reason they have changed is because I ran across this guy. Let's see if I can get him up there. Thomas Levy. Okay. Yep, I'm going to share it. Thank you. Share screen. Okay. This gentleman right here, Thomas Levy. Watch his interviews, you guys. If you want to know why I take vitamin C now, watch these interviews with him. He is freaking amazing. So I will. Oh, sorry, Instagram. I got to share Instagram. Sorry, guys. There he is. Thomas Levy. You can watch any of them. He's got like 1 million of them. I mean, look at this. He's been interviewed so many times. He's a biochemical doctor, really. He's functional medicine doctor. I mean, he's like incredible. He's written so many books. I mean, legendary wealth of information on the Krebs cycle and how the cell works. And so I take vitamin C now because he explains it really eloquently, which I love. I want to get him on a Zoom, Karen, but he hasn't reached back out. I emailed him and somebody works with him and they were going to get him in contact with me, but did I do something wrong?
No, you didn't. It's just this stupid, like, I tried watching a dumb movie and it's in the way.
Oh.
Everybody's seeing it.
Oh, he just wanted to take the movie down. Well, I stopped the share anyways. So, okay. So what he talks about is vitamin C. Our bodies are supposed to make vitamin C. Every human on the planet should be making vitamin C. We lack one little transcription in our genetic code that we stopped making it. But we used to make it, and babies make it, but then we stop making it at some point in our life on our own, and it's an epigenetic factor. So it's kind of like type 1 diabetes in a way, where type 1 diabetics aren't making insulin anymore. Okay? We have our epigenetics is a real serious thing. If you guys don't know what it is how your environment influences your genes, turning the genes on and off in specific ways that create diseases or health. It can go either way. You can be epigenetically strong and create health, or you can be epigenetically poor and create disease. So basically what he claims is, our bodies are supposed to make vitamin C and now they don't. It's been epigenetically turned off in us. And so now we're not making vitamin C anymore, and we should be. And he says that goats, 140-pound goat, makes on a normal day, 8,000 milligrams of vitamin C on a normal day. And on its own, like a goat. Most animals make vitamin C. We're the only ones that don't. And I think there's one other hedgehog, I think, doesn't make vitamin C. I think it's a hedgehog. Anyways, so we're supposed to make the vitamin C and we don't. And we're not getting it in our diet. We're not getting nearly enough in our diet. So we're chronically low in vitamin C, and it creates all this inflammation. We're also eating high amounts of calcium, and calcium in the cell creates a lot of inflammation and toxicity. And magnesium is a natural calcium blocker. So magnesium pushes calcium outside of the cell. So I take magnesium and vitamin C for this reason with Dr. Thomas Levy, Dr. Thomas Levy, Levy. Look him up. He's written like 15 books. He's freaking fantastic. He says, so Biscare, I take ascorbic, mostly ascorbic acid, because he says they've done multiple studies and there's nothing saying that whole foods acts differently than ascorbic, because your body makes ascorbic acid. That's what it makes. It doesn't make whole food vitamin C. But then there's a lot of talk out there about, oh no, you got to have whole food vitamin C because it throws off all the other stuff within the cell. I can't remember now what the other guy is, what his name is. That says you need to take vitamin C in whole food form. It's hard to do that because you end up getting diarrhea. When you take too much vitamin C in whole food form, you end up with diarrhea. But I take a liposomal. I take the Live On Labs liposomal vitamin C, and it's great. So I take vitamin C. I take and I take a couple other forms of vitamin C too, but mostly it's ascorbic acid. I do take one little whole food form of vitamin C because Dr. Thomas Levy says you should take multiple kinds, multiple forms, just because they absorb differently in the gut. Listen to his interviews. He's brilliant. And I take magnesium. I take iodine. And when I do a sauna, I take a little potassium. I'll add in a little potassium. And that's pretty much it. That's all I take. And I take vitamin D in the winter. But I try to get my tanning bed in. I haven't been doing vitamin D because I've been doing enough tanning. But if I'm not in a place where I can do a lot of tanning, then I'll take vitamin D if I need it. So that's it. That's all I take. I know it's not much, but it is a little bit of something. But vitamin C, in my opinion, yep. Magnesium is a yes too. Those are the things we aren't getting in our diet. Our body should be making vitamin C. So like type 1 diabetics, their bodies should be making insulin. They don't now. So now they have to take synthetic insulin. Okay. So I think we're going to wrap it up. I know you guys have a million questions about supplements. It's all stuff that I carry because that's what I used to do, you guys. I used to do supplements. And I sold tons of them. So it's stuff that I use from my own personal source of supplements. And they're practitioner grade supplements. So that's what I take. I just take those brands because I'm familiar with them. Live On Labs is one of the ones that I take that I didn't used to work with, that company, but I started since I found Dr. Thomas Levy. So you can get Live On anywhere. Yeah, EMFs too. Yep. Too much calcium in the cells due to EMFs. Yeah, we're zapped by EMFs. It zaps us of our magnesium too. Magnesium gets zapped from too much electromagnetic frequencies, which also causes calcium to build up within the cell as well. So, okay, guys, it's 8:03. It is Candy's bedtime here coming up in the next hour. I'm at 9 o'clock in bed. I can feel my melatonin kicking in. You're welcome, girlfriend. Trina, thank you for being on tonight. Everybody. How many people did we have on our first live stream, Tom Frazier?
550.
Wow, 550 people on tonight's call at one point. I don't know how many are still hanging on.
Around 400.
Ah, wow, over 400. All right, you guys. Well, this has been great. Spread the word that the Primal Bod is getting on live streams now. I'll try to give you guys a heads up when I get on one. We will be doing another one this week. I don't know when. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see how Candy feels, but we got a lot to talk about. We got into some pretty deep stuff tonight, but we will keep talking and I will be here to answer your questions. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to all my Primal Babes and Primal Bod members for being on tonight's call. You guys are so awesome. We love you. Everybody have a great rest of your night and we'll see you very soon.
Now we just got to figure out how to stop this damn